Welcome, my dear friends. In these lessons, the maps are everywhere. From navigation apps to environmental analysis tools, maps rely on layers to display meaningful data. Think of layers as sheets of information stacked on top of each other to form a complete map. In this lecture, we'll dive deep into layers, how they work, why they are important, and how you can use them in your applications. Imagine you are building a web app where users can toggle between viewing transportation networks and housing density. Layers make this functionality possible. By the end of this lecture, you'll be confident in creating, configuring, and interacting with map layers. Learning objectives. By the end of this session, you will 1. Understand the concept of layers and their role in maps. 2. Create and configure layers using the ArcGIS Maps SDK. 3. Add layers to a map and manage their visibility. 4. Use advanced techniques like layer view and when for interacting with layers. 5. Build a complete example that combines all these concepts. Related concepts to explore. Before diving into the code, let's discuss some key concepts. 1. What is a layer? A layer is a collection of spatial data, either as vector data, immample points, lines, polygons, or raster data. Example images, pixels. Layers represent real-world phenomena such as roads, weather, or population density. 2. Types of layers. Feature layer displays vector data, points, lines, polygons, and supports querying and editing. Tile layer displays pre-rendered raster data, images optimized for performance. Imagery layer works with satellite or aerial imagery. Scene layer used in 3D mapping for large datasets like buildings or terrain. 3. Layer properties. URL, the endpoint where the layer's data is hosted. Opacity, adjusts the transparency of the layer. Visibility, determines whether a layer is displayed on the map. Scale ranges control the visibility of a layer at certain zoom levels. Layer view. The layer view represents how a layer is rendered in the map view. It provides access to rendered graphics and their properties. 5. Interaction with layers. Layers can be controlled programmatically using events and methods such as when method to wait for a layer to load and on method to listen to events. 6. Base map and operational layers. Base map, a static map background. Example satellite imagery or topographic maps. Operational layers, dynamic layers added to the base map such as points of interest or transportation routes. Example, combining concepts into practice. The scenario. You want to create a map showing two types of data. 1. Transportation networks using a tile layer. 2. Housing density in New York City. We will use the following concepts. Adding layers to a map. Controlling layer visibility. Interacting with layer view. Using when method to ensure the layer is fully loaded. Step-by-step tutorial. We will divide the implementation into clear steps, building our understanding incrementally. Step 1. Setting up the environment. Tools required. Visual Studio Code, a lightweight, powerful editor. ArcGIS JavaScript API for building web maps. Okay, now open the Visual Studio Creating the file structure. Create a new folder example, Show Hide Layers. Inside the folder, create two files. Showhide.html for the HTML structure and showhide.js for JavaScript logic. Writing the HTML file. Open showhide.html and add the following code. Explanation. The div with id is equal. View div is the container where the map will be displayed. The input checkbox is for toggling the visibility of a layer. The external scripts and style sheets are for the ArcGIS Maps SDK. Step 2. Adding basic JavaScript. Open showhide.js and add the initial JavaScript to display a basic map. Explanation. Map represents the map itself. Map view displays the map in 2D. Base map defines the background map style, example, oceans. Step 3. Adding layers. Adding tile layers. Modify showhide.js to include tile layer for adding additional data layers. Explanation. Tile layer adds raster-based data from a URL. Opacity adjusts transparency for better visualization. Step 4. Controlling layer visibility. Add interactivity by toggling the transportation layer's visibility. Explanation. Listens to the change event of the checkbox. Toggles the visibility of the transportation layer. Step 5. Working with layer views. Listen. For layer view, create events to explore layer properties. Explanation. Logs information about each layer's layer view when it is created. Useful for debugging and understanding layer behavior. Step 6. Animating with when method. Focus on the housing layer after it loads using when. Explanation. When method ensures a layer is fully loaded before interacting with it. Go to method animates the view to a specific extent. Step 7. Final testing. Open the browser by going to the page, then right-clicking and clicking on Open with Live Server. Very good. The map appeared well, and also the checkbox menu. Toggle the transportation layer's visibility using the checkbox. Check the console for layer information. Observe the map zooming to the housing layer's extent. Conclusion. In this lecture, we learned the foundational role of layers in maps, how to create, configure, and add layers, managing layer visibility dynamically, using advanced techniques like layer view and when. By following these steps, you've built a dynamic map application that demonstrates the power of layers. Evaluation 1. What is a tile layer and how does it differ from other layers? 2. Why is the when method important for layer interaction? 3. How can layer view enhance debugging and interactivity? Next lecture. In the next lecture, we'll explore feature layers and learn how to use attributes and styles to create detailed interactive maps. Stay tuned. See you in the next lecture.